Welcome back to another episode of the Mainly Hoops podcast. We're back with another game preview, the final game of the night on Thursday night. We've got second seed Houston Cougars against 15 seed Idaho Vandals. Cody, off initial thoughts, what does Idaho need to do to come out of here with a win or, to hang around in this game?
Yeah, I like the fact that they're not transition reliant in this game. Houston, they're one of the best transition defenses in the entire country. Idaho is 215th in average possession length on the offensive end. So it's not like they need transition to generate offense. They can shoot it at a pretty solid level. They have a high 3-point attempt rate. They shoot at 34.5% from three on the entire season. Guys like Biko Johnson, Isaiah Brickner, Colton Mitchell can knock it down as well. They do have capable shooters, so their offensive setup isn't horrible. It's just a matter of the big sky over the years really not being able to play up in the tournament. And we don't really have a large sample size of them playing real athleticism, really. The only power conference team they played all year was Notre Dame, and they lost by 15. And you could argue that Notre Dame has mid-major athletes. They have some on the wings, a little bit up front. I think Tout was a big sky player, right? Last year, I think he was in Northern Arizona.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, Idaho does a good job on the defensive glass. They haven't played anyone that can really get on the offensive glass, so I still kind of view that as a mismatch against Houston here. And then one final note on the offensive end, they do have a high spot up frequency, but they get into their spot up actions through pick and roll and through the post and creating advantages off of post doubles and when teams send to the ball. But Houston does such a good job in pick and roll and post up defense that I think it's going to be really tough for them to get the shots they want throughout the course of this game.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think, like you said, Big Sky hasn't really played up in the tournament. We've seen teams that were maybe highly picked upsets, I guess, over the years, or teams that people thought could hang around, just not really hang around because their defense couldn't hold up, or in this matchup, I think even Idaho's probably going to struggle to take care of the ball. I know they've done a fine job, but like you said, they haven't really played anybody up. Their only power conference team is Notre Dame. They're going to play one of the best defenses in the country that can turn over the best teams in the country. Houston's 13th in turnover rate defense. I think they're going to be able to have their way with forcing some turnovers against this Idaho team. I think, like you said, yeah, Idaho's done a fine job on the defensive glass. They're fifth in defensive rebound rate, but they haven't seen Houston, and Houston just relentless on back taps and going to the offensive glass. So I think the only way that the Idaho can survive that is if just Houston is reckless and commits a bunch of fouls, jumping on dudes' backs on the offensive glass. But Houston does a fine job there, just really looking to get back taps out to their shooters out up top. They're looking to tap it out to Uzan and Sharp and Flemings and generate, honestly, the best 3-point looks that they get, because all the other ones are step back off the dribble. So I don't really like how that sets up for the Idaho defense. If they, like you said, we've talked about in some of these other upset matchups of the high seeds, if they just maybe get hot, they can keep it interesting. But I think they're outmatched too much here physically. Houston's certainly not sending two to the post to double, in this matchup. So I don't really see Idaho generating the looks that they need, like you said, and Houston's going to advance. But anything else to add before we wrap things up?
I guess the one thing I would say is Houston, I guess they've shown that they can go on some offensive droughts against anyone just because of their shot diet. If they just pull up in the mid range for 4 straight possessions and go one and done, maybe Idaho can go on a little run that way. But over the course of 40 minutes, I think Houston's a little bit too much from an athletic standpoint.
Yeah, no doubt. So we'll wrap things up here. Houston's going to probably advance, but thank you for listening to the Mainly Hoops podcast.